Yes, we are live. Real Life Group, bringing you more quality information, not just in the world of property, but business, marketing, how to get yourself out there. Because let's face it, getting yourself out there is a major part of property investment. Why? Because you need, number one, deals flowing to you. Number two, you need money flowing to you. Because isn't it a good idea to have investors' money, joint ventures, estate agents, direct to vendors? You need to know how to market yourself. You need to know how to get yourself out there. So it is a very, very special edition this evening. We have another great, amazing guest in Dhillon, who's going to share his expertise. We're going to be discussing some awesome topics that are the flavor of the month, let's say. So first of all, I want to know, where are you? Comment on here. Where are you? I think last week was bank holiday and we still had a great turnout. So you guys were awesome. But who is on here today? Comment right now. And also, I want you to tag people. Now, there's going to be a competition. Who tags the most people? Who tags the most people is going to get a chance to win a ticket, which money cannot buy, for our Q&A and mentoring day on this Q&A day. Is very small groups, only like 30 to 40 people. And what you're going to get a chance to do is ask questions, not just to me and Trisha, but we're going to have some of our quality students, coaches who are doing multi-million-pound property deals right now in the market today. So isn't that good to learn from people, ask questions, just seek out their knowledge? So you got to start tagging people though. Because here's the thing, just give someone the chance to even have the option of whether they want to see this or not. Some people might think this is garbage. That's up to them. Some people might think this is wonderful, and it gives them the insight they needed to take them to the next level. Now, if you haven't already realized, my voice is a bit husky because just came back from a 5-day event where we train other trainers. Because is it true? I believe it's true that a lot of people have a lot of important knowledge and experience to share, which is gold, but they don't know how to get it out. Yeah, so that is one of the differences at the trainings we do, is because it's not about the information, it's about the transformation. So we want to give you a lot of information here, but then you've got to turn it into transformation, because information is important, but really the key bit is the environment and the context that you operate in. So that's why I want you to tag some people in here, get them out of their current situation, their current environment, because if that environment they were currently in was going to get them the results they wanted, they would already have it. Isn't this true?
Absolutely. Yeah, because listen, what we said, and I was saying this earlier as well, it's so important just to put yourself out there, because the thing is, there's so many people that are saying, I wish I could do this. I want to do this. When I get this, then I'll be happy. There's loads of people that are doing that. And listen, I'm going to admit, I did that for a while. I was like, I'd love to do this, and I'll try. And try doesn't exist. You do or do not do, right? And that's just it. And what we're trying to do with this Monday night, I've just said the word try, right? But what I'm saying is, what we're doing on this Monday is trying to come to you, give you as much content as we physically can, bringing other people out there, because we don't believe in competition out there. We believe in collaboration, because bringing as many powerful minds, people that are transforming lives, people that are adding value, doing great things in their businesses, like Jay, who is going to be coming on very soon, very excited to talk to him, so that we can help you to get out of your own way. That's what it's about.
So get tagging people, because you need to give them the opportunity. You need to go. And by the way,
if they don't want to be on it, they can just go away.
But also, I said we're going to give you the opportunity to win the ticket. But if you don't tag enough people, there's not enough people tagging, then don't worry about it. We won't give anything away because you don't want it. That's fine. And that's okay. That's fine. That's good. But here's the thing. Share it, like it, hate it, love it, whatever you want to do. There's going to be some awesome information, awesome discussion points. So if you want anything, answering any questions, something you might have going on right now in your mind, something that you've got going on in your business, maybe something to do with finding deals, it might be raising money, it might be you're in refurb stage, it might be in management stage, because there's all these different stages in property in your business,
And marketing, getting yourself out there. If you've got a voice and you've got stuff to share and you want to learn how to get an amazing podcast out there, how to get started, or even if you've got one and you want to get to the mega level, like Jay has the #1 podcast on iTunes right now. So ask him some questions on how he did that and what it is to bring new content all the time, because sometimes people are like, yeah, but what if I run out of things to say? This is about like doing Facebook Lives and getting yourself out there on social media. People are always worried that they're going to run out of stuff to tell people. I mean, we get that question all the time, don't we?
Yeah, or they're worried about a few people commenting or questioning them or challenging them. There could be challenges. There's people that have genuine questions. There's some people that are just outright negative, which I used to like get a bit annoyed about, but now actually we've got this little strategy. So please keep doing that, because we're going to create something out of all of that. Because if you can't beat them, join. Accept and utilize what is, right? So it is what it is. People are always going to do that, So we're going to use it for our benefit and everyone else's benefit. Because what I believe, and what Alan C. Walter, you want to write that name down, Alan C. Walter. He's not with us anymore, but his technology that he created to get people to work with the truth is just beyond amazing. Yeah, so write that name down, Alan C. Walter. And he talks about something called the green zone truth phenomenon. Yeah, and what that comes down to is you got to work with the truth. If you want consistent success and continuous success, you got to work with the truth.
Real life, baby.
Truth. Yeah, and definition of green zone, by the way, just so you know, for the people that don't know, right place, right time, right people, right what, where, when, hows, right intentions, right perceptions. Accurate perceptions, because when your perception is accurate of what it actually is, not some made up story of whether something's, overly optimistic or negative, when you have an accurate perception, that is where success is created in business, in life, in your relationship, in your family, and in property as well, which we're going to be discussing. Yeah, hashtag green zone. That's awesome. So time, listen, we want to put as much time into this as possible. So Jay, I hope you're ready, because we're going to bring you on right now. Thank you so much for coming on here. I know your time is.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
What would be good is let's hear just a little bit of an introduction from you, just so people know what kind of questions might be relevant to ask as we go through this session today. So just give us a bit of your background and your areas of expertise.
Yeah, it's interesting because I do talks for about 6 hours on this, so I'll narrow it down. But yeah. And a few of them might be on the live feed. But, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in business now for 20 years, in recruitment, property investment, and e-commerce, and now brand. So I work with lots of different entrepreneurs in business. I'm just helping them build a business, scale it up, take it to the next level. I do work with the Prince's Trust as well. So I also give back, helping young entrepreneurs. I launched my business. My first business was a recruitment agency. And we built it to 500 staff across 3 locations. We built to quite a big scale. And from then, I just now mentor as well. I've got the Business Mentor Academy. So quite a bit. So I'm interested with the questions that are going to come today. But generally, and that's a difficult question to ask, right? I bet you get it all the time, is what do? You do so much. But my drive and my hunger is to help people. And that's why the podcast got launched as well. So probably give about 7 different things there. But my story goes far back, but generally speaking, it's just around business and business systems.
Awesome. I think that gives us some target in terms of what people can ask, because we just want to give value. And I just want to share something, and then I've got a question for you, because with all the push, all the grind, all the hustle that you may have to do in the very beginning when you start in anything. And then you've got the chaos phase, because stuff starts to happen for you, right? And any business goes through a chaos phase. If you don't go through chaos phase, you're not pushing hard enough. So then you have this chaos phase, and the only way to get out of that is systemize and management, and bring management in, and have people manage the system and work the system. Yeah. And for us, and I'm interested to get your opinion, but for us, I just speak for myself. Sometimes it gets a little bit too much. But then it always boils down for me, and what keeps me going is I just want to help people. I just want to help people. And that always then just gives me that, okay, as long as I'm doing that,
Yeah.
and I help enough people, I know I'll get what I need. The challenge for everybody is that even when you're doing the right thing for the right reasons, what you need will only show up just in the nick of time. So it's living on that edge. So my question to you is, what's it like for you, because you want to put yourself out there and help people?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just telling your story. I've just been telling my story as it is. I think every person goes to that chaos phase. Whether you systemize a business which is really big or small business, entrepreneurship is around that. Whether it's in property, have a great day and then a few boilers might go, right? So you get in that phase kind of thing. And, I like the challenge of that. I like the challenge of, like, sometimes the day doesn't start very good and then towards the evening, it's amazing, right? But you've got to just keep on going. I always say that, just keep on going, because the next thing could be the biggest thing. Like in property, you might have like loads of properties you don't get, and suddenly you get that phone call by the agent saying, look, this property is yours. And I'm thinking, wow, this is what it's all about. So for me, I mean, the key thing for anything is just, don't get too excited, don't get too down, just keep plugging, keep improving every single day. That's what I've been doing anyway. And the highs and lows are part of just business and property. You just got to just handle them, and it's just a journey, right? The great thing for me, I invested in mentors very early on. I know you guys do that as well, and it's always good to basically get on the phone and have that conversation, because being an entrepreneur, I mean, being in property, because property is an entrepreneur type of business as well. So it's just having that person to call on and just get that feedback is really helpful. Before the recession came in 2009, I didn't really have a mentor. And that's when I really got a mentor, and the game changed for me. So anything major, I give my mentor a call, and they normally tell me it's all right, it's going to be all right. But yeah, the chaos is part of everything, isn't it? And the thing is, as you scale up, you get more staff, and that brings more chaos. So it's always, but I love it anyway. It's all good fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that everything brings challenges. And like, if anyone thinks that getting into any business is easy, then yeah, you're very mistaken. But if you do the right thing for the right reasons, and yeah, like you said, invest in yourselves, working with the right people, having people to turn to. Because what do you say? When you realize you know nothing, that's when you know everything, or something like that, right?
No. So like, when you realize you know nothing, that's when you're intelligent.
Right, yeah, because when you can find somebody that's already doing what you want to be successful at and doing it well, then you model and go after that person and read and listen and do whatever it takes to model that person. And then you can start implementing what you're learning. Then you go to the next stage. And like I mean, I don't know about you, Jay, but every time, obviously, we get to a certain stage with potentially mentors and coaches, then if we've outgrown them in some way, then we'll move on to the next person. But generally, we're working with people that are really scaling in the type of businesses we are, but we also work with people that aren't in our industries and stuff, because they help us with different things, which is again other aspects of what makes a successful person in business, because it's lots of different areas.
Okay.
100%.
So we didn't plan to discuss this topic, but seeing as we're on it, obviously the universe wants us to. So this whole thing, because it came up actually, and I see it all over the place on different forums. I'm thinking of, going to this training or using this mentor. What due diligence should I be doing? And some of the stuff I see, some of it's crazy, some of it's relevant. Some people are just talking themselves out of it. Some people are just wanting to hate, where they think they're challenging, but really it's just, I don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But this is the way I see it. So like what you said, Jay, you got mentors. And that's what you're saying, Trisha, is like people who have already stepped the path. This is just my definition. So I'll be interested to hear your guys' opinion as well. So mentor is someone who's already took the steps, gone the path that you are looking to do. That's pretty much what you just explained. And that's one thing. But where I think a lot of magic happens is coaching. Now, I'm not talking about mentors who call themselves a coach, and I'm not being disrespectful to them. I'm just saying, like, you're telling people how to do what you've already done. Is mentoring. It's not coaching. Coaching is pulling the brilliance out of that person. I had someone help me extremely well in sales and creating an online sales training platform. this guy himself and his background, he was a neuroscientist. Yeah, but he was a damn good coach. And he didn't, I knew more about sales than him. My abilities, my track record was much more, prestigious than his in that field. But a good coach, not a mentor is different. A good coach can really create magic. So you got mentor, you got a coach. Also, then you have got trainers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, because I think there's speakers and trainers, and I think they're different.
Right. Okay.
I think speakers speak about, a lot of stuff, and that's good, and it's information. Yeah, so they share a lot of information, and that's useful, because I've been to a lot of people who are speakers, and I've took some great info, and then my coach can help me, get myself out of the way so I can implement this stuff. But I think a trainer is someone who actually is training you. The difference between, let's say, someone tells me how to do an exercise in the gym, that's a speaker. Someone who trains me, watches my form, makes sure I'm getting it right, so I can actually implement, so practice feedback, like proper training. And then when we start going into world class, we're talking about facilitation. For someone to facilitate an experience, because let's face it, experience is the only teacher. Some people say, oh, experience is the best teacher. My opinion, experience is the only teacher. When you go out there on the road, that's when you learn. Yeah. I don't think anyone can argue with that. No. That's where you learn the most. So facilitation to create a simulation of the real thing is the next highest in regards to retention of learning. You've got the real thing. The next thing, the best thing is a simulation. That's facilitation. Now that is when someone can do that and deliver that, they're a magician.
Cool. So what was the question? So you the difference between a mentor and a coach?
Yeah.
I think a coach can. I mean, a mentor can be a coach as well. I think the mentor for me is someone who's been there and done it, and just basically had the kicks in the stomach and that kind of thing. So in my experience, my experience is when recession came, and I had a coach at the time. The coach had his own coaching business, and they were struggling because that's their business, right? The mentor was the one for me who said to me, stay with the path. I've been here, I've done this, and they can pass that belief to you, basically. There's an overlap, there is an overlap. But yeah, you get some great coaches who've never run a business, and they're very good at getting that thing outside of you. Do you know what I mean? It's in football as well. Football, there's some great coaches, like Jose Mourinho is amazing, right? He's never really been a high-class footballer, but he's a very good coach. Probably better than most football superstars, right? So, I mean, it's a grey area. I think you've got to, for yourself, what suits you. What do you want in your stage and your sort of schedule? Do you want a coach, want a mentor, and how do you connect with these people, right? If you connect with your coach and your mentor, that's half the battle. I think it's really important to get that relationship right. Because if you get the wrong coach and the wrong mentor, and you don't believe in them or the way they teach things, I spoke to one of my mentors very recently. Just because you're successful in business doesn't mean you're going to become a good mentor or a coach. It doesn't guarantee you that. True. It's a way of teaching, right? So, so a lot of people go to mentors, and because they've been successful, they reach out to them, but that mentor can't get that information away that can translate to you or have that relationship. Do you see what I'm saying? So
I'm glad you said that, because that is so true. Just because you like the reference of the football manager, some of the best players in the world, they're not good managers. They're not good.
You've got to be able to manage people and individuals. You've got to be a people's person, right? You've got to be able to deal with different kind of people. I know very successful people who won't go down and onto the level of their mentees because they think they've been there and done it. Whereas me, I'll lead from the front. If I've got to make a call for them, I'll get on the phone and make the phone call. If I've got to go on a trade show with them, I'll help them if they need the help, because I'm willing to go there, because for me, that's great. But someone's, I'm not going to do this. I'm not making that call. You get on with what you're doing. I'm making a £50 million deal. Do you know what I mean? You've really got to work with their mentee, because their mentees are the position where you were maybe 5 years ago. So you've got to go back to that role and then bring them back up to your level.
Yeah, and I think when you're a mentor, coach, or trainer, you know, you're only as successful as your results from your students.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and that is where the participants come. And when you have next events and stuff, that's why, like, I'll be really proud, and I love the fact of everywhere online, all the thing now is real life success. It's just everywhere, and like, I'm so proud of that, and I'll maintain that, and I'll do whatever it takes to maintain that. And it's like, you know, I can see some of the things you're doing with your mentoring, because obviously you do it for the Prince's Trust as well. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing thing to do and give back. And, you know, it is about making sure that you connect with the person. I completely agree, because like we'll have meetings with people that, you know, want to join and do more advanced programs with us and things like that. And if we don't feel that like connection, because the thing is, it's like training them, coaching them is one thing, but if we don't feel, and I can only speak for myself, but if I don't feel that the person's going to actually take the action and implement it, you know, that reflects badly on me. So then I say, look, I don't think you're ready right now, because until you're at a point where you're like, yeah, I'm going to do whatever it takes, this and this, to go out there and get results myself, you know, then they'll just blame, like they do about everything else in their life. You know, this is the reason I'm not where I am, because of this person, and this happened, and this, you know, and I'm not saying, because some people have had really bad experiences, I appreciate that, but they have to be in a position where they're actually ready to implement what you're helping them do. And also, like, coaching and things like that, what we work with, like what we train in real life, is like, we're trying to facilitate leaders that can be self-sufficient. So they don't always, like, you should always have coach and mentor. And I will never not have a coach, ever.
Yeah.
You know, you also need to train and coach in a way where they are self-sufficient and not, you know, needing to constantly come back and be led.
And I think, you know, everybody, I think, should be a coach or mentor at some point to give back. And the link to the Prince's Trust, you know, when I saw my business, you know, I don't do mentoring to like a business kind of thing. It's a way of giving back, right? And there's a bit of investment, but what I do, I don't really monetize it as much as some people say, but I just want to give back. And the Prince's Trust came to me because the first thing I wanted to do was to give back with no money involved. Do you know what I mean? And work with the rawest people, because I thought, yeah, I've done 10 years in business, but I want to work with people who are very, very difficult. Do that make sense? Young entrepreneurs. And I really thought, you know, my first client was a magician. He's still with me today, and he's got 7 million followers who just signed massive brand deals. But I just used my skills and my knowledge on them, the rawest talent. And then when it started working, that's when I had the confidence to say, look, if anyone else approaches me, we can do something. But you're right, people are going to approach to you. You know, you've got to have that connection. And look, a lot of people can't, you know, invest in mentoring and coaching, and that's fair. That's fine. That's why I do the podcast, which is completely free, and people can get knowledge from there. But if you want to like really accelerate your growth, then it's good to have that partner with you, pushing you, giving you the shortcuts. It depends how fast people want to go. You know, there is a way you can do it yourself, but you know, it's better to not make that big mistake that can take you out of the game. And by the way, 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years significantly. And I want to change that. I'm sure you want to change that. And by giving the knowledge to them and getting them to invest in themselves, it makes that, you know, let's change that. Let's make it less people failing, because I've seen some people fail and it's really destroyed them. And that's why I want to try and stop them from making mistakes. A lot of my podcast is about, look, think about what you're doing, think about everything, research your mentors, your coaches, research your programs, find out what they're doing, then make the investment, or like you said, you know, do the stuff, put the action steps in. Like you said, there's nothing like better than just going out there and doing it as well. But yeah, that's how I do it.
Yeah, sure. And that thing about when people do it by themselves and they make a mistake and then they get a big hit.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Most of the time it takes them out. I've seen it happen to my dad. You know, he was running a video shop business. Long story short is I think looking back, it was when Sky came out that just totally wiped him out. And then, you know, he never attempted to go create anything like that because it was doing well. The success was there.
Yeah.
And it didn't. So like you said, we definitely want to change that too.
Yeah.
Because we want to put, you know, as many people as possible and as many companies or people wanting to set up business through our real life culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't call it a cult. You don't want to call it a cult. Yeah, no, I think it's good what you're doing. I'm sure you've got lots of great students. I hear things. That's why I wanted to come on, because there's a few mutual friends that I know that talk really highly of you guys. So there's always going to be people that question everything, and the bigger you get, the more you get. I get it now and again as well, even though I don't even push myself out doing much training. But you're going to get people going to question you, because one, they probably want to do what you're doing anyway, and two, with success you get the downside as well. But you've got to be big enough and strong enough to, like you said, when you get, you all know, every so often you may have something, you get a message saying you've changed someone's life, and if you can do that, that's so amazing.
In the world reading.
Yeah. You see, look, anybody who's been on our programs or anything, only good stuff to say. The only people that don't say good stuff has never even been on a program or training or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Each to their own. So
That's
what
right.
we want to do now, hopefully we've given people a little bit of insight to, hey, look at all the different ways: mentoring, coaching, training, facilitation, and what is it that they need at the different stages.
Yeah.
But what I want to do now is I want to fly through and
I can't see the comments. Is that right? Should I be able to see the comments?
I don't think so, but I'm going to just read the ones out.
Okay.
We want to do like a quick fire so we can get through as many as possible.
Yeah, it's fine.
So there's a topic here about patience, and and how important is it to be patient or not when building your brand?
Oh, with your brand, patience is definitely key, because I have a lot of people who say to me, you've grown your brand very quickly. And I always say, look, if you look back, the first 10 years, I was just actually building a business, and now I can just repurpose the content. So I would say you got to be patient. It can change very quickly. I'm just working with one of the guys I work with, and they've, after 5 years, they've just done a 6-figure plus brand deal and really, really put it out there. So, you got to treat brand as your legacy, right? You're telling your story. And for me, I look at, like, we've got a team that does a bit of my videoing and editing. I know you guys got some people doing that for yourself, but you look at Gary Vee and people like that, they've got like 40, 50 people working on brand. If you're starting off small, start posting stuff, just repurposing your own content. But anything, patience is key, right? Everyone talks about they want it now. Yes, you can get quick wins on the way, but the long-term game, you want to play the long-term game, because you'll get demotivated if you're trying to do it within 6 months and it doesn't work. Whereas me, I'm thinking, right, let's give it 10 years. Let's see what happens. So that's what I do. Yeah, patience is definitely important.
There's a longer story to explain the true, essence behind what I'm about to say, but that's probably for another day. But it totally comes down to the value you add.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because like you say, you just built a business. Now you're repurposing the content, because what you've done along the way is all these lessons, all these things that you've had to go through to get where you are today. Is valuable, and like you say, people have got, teams and reams of people doing video editing and all the rest of it. And I think that sometimes can put people off, and they might think, how can I compete? Now, I don't know what you did when you first started, but I know what we did. Like, we just started doing Facebook lives, no video editing, no nothing, no messing about uploading. It was just like, bam, press go, talk. What is it I'm doing? This is my problems I'm facing. This is the success we're having. This is, this is just the real stuff. I know people are learning from it, loving it, helping them in their journey. And we just built up. How did you start?
Yeah, similar kind of way. Obviously, we launched the podcast a year ago now, but generally similar to you. I was getting on there, putting stuff on social media, Facebook. I think the first time I posted, the real big post, when I met Grant Cardone in London. So we had a bit of a meeting there.
Easy.
Yeah. I met him originally, it was about 18 months ago. And then I met with him, and, it was a close thing, and I posted something there, and that got a bit crazy. And then people started finding out what I did. And then I just thought, right, let's just post what I do. Started posting quite a few things, and and that's how it all started. And then the podcast launched, and that went a bit crazy. And my Instagram went a bit crazy, and Facebook went, simple as that. And I say that about brand. When people see, like, a videographer who tends to come out when I do talks, when I get champed, and he records it, and they're like, wow, how do you do this kind of thing? I said, just start off small. Just post twice a day. Post what you're comfortable in posting. A lot of people now teach people to constantly keep posting. What I say, just think about it. If you post once a week and it's good, post once a week. You don't have to post 6-7 times a day just because somebody says that's going to get you more engagement. Post quality stuff and do it less frequent if you have to, because that will give you the confidence, right? If you're getting good engagement, and then you can start posting more and more and more, and then you can go crazy with it. But a lot of people stop doing it because they think it's too much, it's overwhelming. But, you know, just start small and compound effects. A book there called Compound Effect. Great book, by the way. You know, that's just worth reading.
Yeah, definitely. I think the whole thing, I mean, everybody says mindset is everything, but I think less people understand the true essence of the mindset is everything. And then even fewer people actually live their life the way that, hey, look, I got to get this right. Because I think the thing about content is the little voice that comes up of, oh, are people interested in it? Do people like it? Oh, I didn't get very many views. Does that mean it's crap? Nobody's liking it. Nobody's commenting it. I think that's the thing that makes it tough for people. Not the same. I mean, people, like I said at the beginning, I just come back from a 5-day training, 350 people there. Some of the questions they're asking when we were helping them come up with their, you know, presentation and how they're going to present, you know, their business and their services forward. And it's gold. They have got gold. They have got enough content to post something every day for the next year if they don't come up with anything new.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that. I think it's the whole, you know, when I go out there, a little voice of, because also when you're growing your success, you even mentioned it, Jay, it's not just the good stuff that comes with it. It's all the garbage, and it's how you can handle that. And that's where awesome coach is essential, because they got to help you get over all this, you know, trash that comes up in here.
Yeah, I think if you speak your truth, that helps. So if you're constantly, like, if you talk genuinely, you're not copying anybody, you're trying to like manipulate people online. If you're genuinely just putting stuff out there, then when you get comments that are not so nice, you're like, well, that's my truth anyway. You know, people get put off because they're kind of like trying to fake it a little bit, and then they get caught out, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh no, I've been caught out. And you know, just speak your truth. You know, you've got your own story. We did an event at Pride Pot recently, multimillionaires, Dragon's Den winners. And you know what? The whole event was called The Secrets to Success, right? You know what the secret was? Was their story of putting in every single day over decades of hard work. There was no secret. The secret was just putting the work in, you know, speaking your truth. And the event went so well. Everyone loved the event because, you know, that's what you got to do. You got to put it and speak your truth, because that's the long-term game, right? You know, that's what you want to do. And people look short-term, look long-term. When you know about likes and comments and stuff, who cares, man? Just put your stuff out there. People are going to like it. And by the way, some people might like it and not click a like. You know, that can happen, you know.
Silent followers. We talk about this all the time with investments, because all of our property, as a lot of you know, our portfolio is 100% investor finance. We've never used any of our own money. And the reason for that is because obviously we do want to create a win-win. You know, we're going to get an amazing asset. They're going to get an excellent return on their money compared to the crap, and they're basically losing money by being in the bank. But none of those investors, we didn't know any of them. They just basically, because we'd started branding ourselves, like you said, Jay, getting ourselves out there, being, you know, having good integrity, showing that we do what we say we're going to do. And then people were following us, but not commenting, liking, sharing. We'd never had any integration with some of them. And all of a sudden, you know, we're putting out there saying we've got these deals, we want some money. And then I had a few messages and I was like, they're like, oh, I've been following you for a while. And we're like, who are you? I've never seen you. And then I start qualifying him. And then I said, yeah, so how quickly can you access the funds? And he said, it's in my bank, and sent me a screenshot. So I went, oh, hi, how are you? Within minutes, like, hi, yes, let's get on the phone. But
crazy.
Silent followers, never commented or anything. You never know who's watching. You
don't. A lot of my mentoring mentees, and I think, you know, they come from that. And I always book a call my PA, and I make sure I qualify them because I want to make sure it's right for them. But a lot of them, you know, a lot of people don't comment. So really, if you're looking at likes and other stuff as a way of, you know, social proving your post, you don't know, because that could be going, you know, to lots of people. Like LinkedIn's got amazing reach at the moment. You know, a lot of people see it. And I think on Facebook, a lot of people see it and like I said, they don't comment. But the proof's in the pudding. The fact they're reaching out to you means that what you're doing is good, right?
Yeah, and I just want to go back to one thing you mentioned about, sometimes you got to say what's the truth and what's for you and what is, and people sometimes, I don't know if people do this, but if they do and they're trying to pull it off as their own content, but it's someone else's, if then someone starts to comment, then that might cause a mind freak for them.
Are you talking about Jay Shetty now?
No, well, no, I don't.
You heard about Jay Shetty?
Well, I think it happened while I was away at the event, but someone did mention it. But
we were going to get him on our podcast, and it's we were close to getting him on, but I think things have changed a little bit because he's not responding. But obviously, we're waiting to see what plays out. But he's done really well. But obviously, there's a lot of stories about repurposing content. But you can repurpose content. Just give the person who made the content accreditation for it. So
that's where I was going with what I was about to say, because at the end of the day, you don't always have to come up with something new. I'll be honest, I'm not that good at coming up with new stuff. What I'm good at is improving what's already there. So if I read a book, or I go to a training, or I hear someone say something, or I learn something from someone, I'll say, I learned this from this person, want to know some guy, and this is my take on it.
Yeah.
So for those people, again, that think they don't have the content, you don't always have to come up with your own content. Just go use something happening in the news, something you learn from someone else, and give your take on it. Because how you deliver the message, they might connect to that better than someone else who's already.
I'll give you a real example on that, and this will probably relate to some of the listeners. So when I launched my podcast, right, it was called the Business Mentor Podcast, right, and obviously I do with Rob Moore. Rob Moore's a mentor of mine as well, so I know Rob really well, and we basically discussed the name. And I said, and at the time I was like, I don't think I should do business because there's so many people doing business. And I said, what can I bring to the business world, right? Even though I had a lot of knowledge, but there's people that loads of knowledge, right? And one thing was interesting, what we had a discussion, and it wasn't the fact that it was new content, it was my take on it. So it's my take on it. So my experience in business. And I'm so glad I did it because I've done really well since then. But if you're thinking about unique content, the uniqueness is you talking about your property stuff, you talking about challenges, you know what I mean? So you're not going to get new content, it's your take on the content. That's all it is, your opinion.
You can't come from anybody else's experience other than your own.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what you said, Mark, was true. People think, how can I create the content? You're not going to create new content. Everything we have is all been created, like the iPhone, yeah? This was made years ago by some of the technology company. Just Steve Jobs was a very good marketer, and Steve Wozniak built this phone. But the technology was always there. The smart technology was done by Microsoft maybe 20 years ago, right? But what they've done is repurposed it, made it better, and they've got it out there. So when people say about content, I said, don't worry, give your take on it. And everyone's got an opinion, and we value that, right? So don't worry too much about it.
Absolutely. And what would you say so if people are trying to get themselves out there, maybe start building a podcast, or even for people that already have one but want to scale, because obviously that's an achievement. Yeah. You even beat Rob and got to #1 in iTunes. He was very happy about that, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's so good. Cool. Yeah.
What's your advice on that for sort of people that want to get started in it, or people that are doing it but need to get more followers?
Yeah, it's a very easy thing to say about that. I think anything you do, you've got to put your passion and treat it as you would a business, right? So what I mean by that is, when I had the podcast, some people get a podcast, they do it on the phone, they mess about. When I did it, I'm in business mode, right? What's my launch? Where am I going? Who am I interviewing? Who are my top 3 targets? My top 3 targets were Patrick Bet-David, right? It was Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm on him, right? But basically, I went for the top targets. That motivated me to keep going all the time. And my launch was done like a proper launch. So what I would say is, anything you do, treat it seriously, right? Treat it. Who can you collab with? What can you do? I was on the day of launch collabing with so many people. I think, I've always been to business. I like doing things properly. I think if you put your heart and soul into it, it normally comes out the other end by, with the results. So I say do it, but just treat it like, do it once a week, schedule your time. I've got a studio now. And that was it, really. You know, like yourselves, you know, you can see your branding behind you. You want to do things properly, right? Because you want to get your results for your students and for yourself. And that's why you're successful, because other people might try and not really put the branding and the hard work that goes behind all of this, you know. It is hard work, but, you know, people don't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And, you know, for other people starting out, this is the advice I have, because I received this from a coach and a mentor of mine, Alex Mandosian. And he said, this changed a lot for us.
And sorry, just if you don't know who Alex Mandosian is, because this guy's a legend. So Russell Brunson, who created ClickFunnels and things like that, like major, he's a mentor for people like that.
Yeah, and I could even say this changed my life, because he said version 1 is better than version none. And that changed everything for me, because I always wanted to have everything perfect. Whether we was putting a website together, where we're going to do a video, whether, you know, we needed to have this studio or that studio. And it's like, if you don't start and you don't put something out there, same in property investment. I see people go on training after training, course after course, information after information. It's like, look, get version 1 of you in property investment out there. You know, where's version 1? Because right now, why you're not doing anything, and you're just learning, even though we know experience is the only teacher. It's like, you know, you're still version none. You need to be version 1. So same with content, just do version 1. You know, Facebook, love it or hate this feature where they remind you of your videos you used to post 1, 2, 3 years ago. Some of them come up and I'm like, I sounded like that. Yeah, so it's like I look back, but today, you know, we won't be producing the content we do, we won't be putting the trainings together, we won't have the people, you know, the following, all the people that we're helping. If you start that in the first place, if you don't do that version 1, so version 1 might be absolute garbage.
I think the word perfection equals procrastination. I think that's what happens.
I think we're version 1. Let's go and talk on versions now. Just make sure you, go with it. Just make sure you do your research on version 1. Do you know what I mean? So get a bit of knowledge and then action it. I think a lot of people jump in too quickly, but you've got to do a bit of research. You've got to put the work in, right? It's like be a student of your game, like in property. I relate to property because you guys are about property, but, you know, get the basic research from podcasts, go to events, then maybe buy your first single let, or, you know, whichever strategy you want to do. What you're saying is don't wait really 3 years trying to get all these strategies, and before you know it, you don't know which strategy to take. Yeah, forget it altogether, right? So yeah, you got to action along the way. You got to practice what what you're learning, basically. Yeah.
I'm not saying go out there and buy a property. By the way, if anyone thinks that's what I'm saying go do something. You know, do something.
Go to an event, buy a book.
But go to a viewing, the phone, talk to someone, research something, see if the numbers work. You know, put an offer in. You know, go knock on someone's door. You know, just do something. Just be version 1 of whatever it is you're doing in the direction.
Then take the feedback.
Yeah.
When you've started, and then adjust and go again.
Yeah, and this is what we do at our events. You know, we get people doing things that they've not done before, that they think, oh, once I've learned everything. Because the thing is, this is the education system, you know, love it or hate it, it teaches us to not do it until the end. You know, I'm supposed to go through the whole journey first. I'm supposed to go through my, 6-year degree or however many years. I'm supposed to do all my years of college, before I actually go and do the thing. Well, the fact is, just learn enough, then make that move. Then learn some more, then make that move. Just go. So the education system is teaching us, to wait. Well, it's like by waiting, you just sit around, doing nothing. So people want to go and learn everything about property before they do anything. Well, the great thing that we see in our training is we get people in the room, right there in the room, we find the deals, we make a move on it. We call the agent, we get rocking. Yeah, and some people think it's the scariest thing ever. I remember these two guys, they were brothers, came to our event, scariest thing ever. And his win after the break, after we sent him on doing the calls, his was, my biggest win is the fact that I made the call and it's not even that bad.
Yeah.
In fact, the question I asked, they gave me the answer. You know, he was thinking it's going to be, you know, some kind of
Quiz.
police interrogation or something. Well,
Yeah.
now these guys are smashing it.
Yeah. It's breaking the barriers, right? Growth is on the other side of fear. So just by doing the call.
What you're saying about education, I totally agree with that, because I know so many people now that spent all those years like in university and stuff, going through everything, learning everything before they could actually implement, that either now can't get a job because they don't have any experience in their industry, even though they've spent all these years training to do it, or by the end of the time that they've actually graduated, they don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Do something else. So you've spent all that time and they're like, yeah, I don't want to do it now. Because they're not the same person they were 4 years ago when they started. So they go through all of this and then they're like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, but it's not all of that. Because you go through all of that and you think at the end you're going to have the result. But at the end, now you're only just starting to put the work in. So then now you've got to wait again.
Yeah.
And this is the same for property investment. You know, people say, oh, you know, I've been working my ass off for 2 years. No, you've been researching information for 2 years. Now you want to go do the work and there's 0 results, but you think you've already been doing it for 2 years. So now you're like, I haven't got any results after 2 years. You haven't been doing anything.
Property changes every single day. I mean, like, so let's jump on it, because do you know what was fun one time? So I was changing the bedding in one of the new ones, putting some new bedding in for new tenants to move in. And who rocks up outside is Jay. I was like,
I can remember that. Yeah.
And he was like, oh no, yeah.
I think I just done an event. I was like,
just filming. With one of your students, and and we bumped into each other. So I mean, what are your top tips or top strategies right now for property investing? Like, what's your favorites right now that you're doing?
Well, I'm a traditional, buy to let. I'd always from a recruitment agency, with the profits we'd buy. So we've seen a lot of capital growth. We do HMOs. In fact, I think yours is one next door to mine, wasn't it? And we did it in 2013, so we did it for quite a while. But I think my top tips, I mean, if someone's starting out, the first thing is get the education. Honestly, get to education, get to some of these events, because that'll teach you all the different strategies. And then depending on your circumstances, then you can pick out what strategy is. It's not like one fits all. If you've got no funds, a lot of funds, then obviously rent isn't there out at the moment. If you need funds, you can go to raise money. And that's where brand is so important. I mean, there's loads of strategies. For me, I still like buying them low, watching the growth, capital growth, but making sure they cash flow as well. HMOs are very good cash cows. I know you guys are quite big into that as well.
HMO.
Yeah, it's a great, it's a great cash cow, and we're looking to commercial line to service business units. So, I mean, it's a difficult question. I think property does well all the way through. I mean, is there a bad strategy for property? The bad strategy is just doing one strategy wrong, isn't it? If you don't get the systems in place. But I think just find out what really tickles your boat. If you want an armchair investment, then give somebody else the cash to do it. But property's done well for us over since 2009. Even some bad deals we bought have always come good in the end. And that's what property is, quite forgiving like that. If you make a mistake in property, in business, you make a mistake, your money could be wiped out tomorrow, right? In property, you still got the bricks and the mortar, and it's still standing there, and you can sell it on or change it into a different kind of use. So I mean, I just think get involved in property. Start your profit. It's probably it is the best investment of your money. Without a doubt. I invest in the stock market. Yeah.
With property,
after yourself.
I always say this. Yeah, definitely. Myself is first, absolutely. But I always say this: property, in my opinion, is the safest investment, because somebody will always need a place to live and eat and food to eat. They're just two things that are always going to be the case. They always will be, and works in any market, up and down. We were on with Paul last week and we were talking about recessions and Brexit and all that kind of jazz. Whatever, as long as you're doing it properly, you're following the strategies, you're doing your due diligence, then you should be able to buy in any market. That's just the way, because it's an asset. You know, if it's a hold strategy or if it's a sell strategy, you just have to work out, follow the trends, what's going on at the time, keep your eye on the balls, notice what's happening. Like what kind of, have you had any big challenges, mistakes that you've made that you really learned a valuable lesson from? If so, what were they?
Yeah, probably buying at auction. That's probably one of the things, you know, going there and buying a property, that wasn't very good. But that was a phase where we were buying quite a lot once we sold the agency. I mean, that's a difficult thing. But again, that turnaround of 5 years, we were in profit. I mean, the mistakes I would say is probably, you know, getting too emotionally involved in properties. You know, buying in the wrong areas because they're cheap. You know, we were buying properties for 50, 60,000. I mean, in not so good areas. And if you look at the capital growth over pound for pound, the properties that were like double what we bought them for have actually grown more than the ones in not so good areas. So that could be quite deceiving sometimes, buying in them kind of markets. So I would say they're probably, probably that. I said, do your research. Go and see as many properties as you can. You know, now obviously I've got experience. I know when I see a good deal. You know, I know what I want. I know where I want it. And if it comes along, we'll just go and get it. But yeah, I think also, look, going like, I mean, Grant Cardone, I asked him, I will share this with you. When I asked him about property, and I said to him, he's got like over 9,000 units. And I said to him, you know, the recession, all that kind of thing. What he said was, he goes, when the recession will come for him, he'll be the most cost-effective provider. So he'll be able to just like, you know, reduce it slightly, but have the best stock. Do you know what I mean? So he always gets good stock and he gets enough leverage in there so he can drop it slightly and still be okay. And then it'll come out the other end. So he always says, you know, we all know that cash flow in property is really important. If it's cash flowing, it doesn't matter about the capital growth. If it goes down 15, 20%, who cares? But if you're looking a lot of, you know, before, you know, when you guys came in the market, but, you know, in 11, 12, a lot of people were teaching the buy now, refinance, and live off the refinancing. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, every so often, you know, they say you make 20 grand of a property and refinance it. Well, that went down the pan as soon as the recession kind of really kicked in and the banks got tighter. So, you know, cash flow is really important. So, you know, I'd say that.
I think any strategy that relies on the way the market is very, very risky. You know, in any bit, I'm not just talking about property, in any business. You know, it happens in marketing. Business rely on the way Facebook works, and then Facebook changes. You know, people rely on that they can refinance a house the day after they buy it, then something changes, the business is finished. You know, like when you rely on these certain ways and principles,
or just one strategy, when you're relying on a single strategy.
Yeah, I think it's more like the rule, like you're relying on the rules and regulations.
Oh, stay in the same.
Yeah, stay in the same. Yeah, if you use principles, you know, Napoleon Hill talks about success principles, and when you fully understand them, they are so powerful and stuff will happen so fast for you that it's scary. I'm talking about these principles. Always worked, always will work. That's what we want to train. I want to train somebody on, oh, it works like this today, so do it like that. Because then tomorrow it doesn't. You know, it's not. You've got
to be innovating all the time. That's why when people say what drives me, or probably drives people who've done pretty well, is, you know, you've got to always be innovating. Because, you know, in 2009, I go back to research, that's a big part for me, was we were relied upon permanent recruitment. So that's all we relied on. Suddenly that went bang out the window. And look, my mentor came in, but we were going to give up and we moved to contract marketing, contract recruitment. Yeah. So then now after that, I always diversify. You know, I'm into property investment. I'm into recruitment. I'm into doing my training academy. I'm into podcasting. So, but, you know, you've got to systemize it all to make sure it runs all right. But yeah, I think you're right. You've always got to be prepared for the next challenge ahead. And that's why you got to get new strategies are coming out all the time, right?
Definitely. So we have so much more to talk about.
I know, I can't believe where we gone. Wow, it's gone an hour. It's crazy.
Yeah, so maybe, well, hopefully, you know, we do it again soon. We'll do it maybe live. You say you got a studio, so, you know.
Yeah, come down. We'll record it here next time. And we could have done it today, but we'll record it. Yeah, you're in Derby. Are you guys in Derby?
That's where we
20
invest.
20
We're
minutes,
like,
25
yeah,
minutes
20
time.
minutes away.
So
yeah, come down. We'll do recording.
awesome to have you on here. Awesome knowledge. I'm sure people in our tribe and beyond. A great session. So thank you so much for that. So what we actually have is we have so we're gonna catch up with you shortly, Jay. So if you just stand by. But our tribe, guys, people in the real life tribe, you have the mastermind at 8 o'clock as always. The details will be in your emails for you to go in there. So you guys should shoot quickly now, so you have a bit of time in between this and that. Freshen yourself up. For everybody else, look, if you want more information like this, follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn. You're obviously already on Facebook. Get in the real life group, Facebook group. It's not just us, because here's the thing, right? We so much want to add value to as many people. It's not just us who are doing content like this. We've got many other people in our tribe. They're doing Q&As. People do it on Sundays, every other Thursday. We've got loads of people. So get connected with those guys as well. We also got something awesome coming up. It's a 2-day event, which we do. You can actually register for free. Now, why would we do this? Why? Because I want you to experience the training before you have to invest anything. Try before you buy, you could call it, if you want. Yeah. No, because look, but it's not like a preview. Some people do a preview and then they want to say, the real training. No, we give you the real training across 2 days so you can see how good the training is. You can see what results you either get in the room or you will get, in the following, days and weeks. So you can actually see that for yourself. Then if you want to take some more niche things, like specifically on certain areas in property, or you might want to go some mindset stuff or some other stuff that we got, we want to build that trust with you, not that it's all hype, that it's the real deal. Yeah, that's why we're doing what we're doing. So the next one is on the 14th and 15th of September in London, Heathrow. So look, if you're starting out, or if you want to rocket up your ass to push yourself forward, then get yourself to that event, because I promise you, there are things that happen at that event, I don't care how long you've been in property, that you will not have experienced. Why? Because we pull the brilliance out of you. Yeah, it's not just property investment, it's about personal growth, because let's face it, you are the vehicle. Okay, property is a vehicle for financial freedom. It says that behind us. We get that. But you're the vehicle that operates it. You're the vehicle that sets up all the systems, what Jay is talking about, setting up, systems and making sure you can run a business and keep your mind in the game. Because there's a reason that Jay is doing not just one thing, because it's him that's running it all. It's not the fact that you got lucky in property, property, podcast, marketing, branding, business, recruitment. You are the vehicle. This is the reasons why successful people don't just stick to one thing. It's not about diversifying out of strategy as such. I mean, it is, but it's more that they are capable of doing anything because it's them. So we work on you as well as the business and technical development in the program. Exactly. So look, it's difficult to explain because I'll tell you, you will not be able to explain it to someone else after you attend. No way. Some of the stuff we do on there, I guarantee you don't even know exists in this world. I'm not talking about property strategies, all the strategies and the information, everybody, that information is easy to find. But the processes we take you through so you can actually implement, those things, we're going to do some stuff that when I explain it to you, it's going to blow your mind. So get yourself there. Everyone else, your thing has probably already started. So get into the mastermind. Amazing to see you all. So we'll see you all again.